CareerDFW and Career USA. All righty. So, Jeff, I'm going to stop my share and turn it over to you. And thank you
All
for
right.
coming today.
Well, thank you very much. As you know, I just hit the record button because in case anybody who can't watch it will be able to go back and watch this on the YouTube channel. I'll upload to my YouTube channel a little bit later here. All right,
Great.
let's see if this works today. Oh, there we are.
Gotcha.
Popped on there. Make myself a little bit bigger. We'll stay down here. So today what I want to do is I want to talk about the 4 areas of your job search that I think you need to concentrate on. Like I said, I've been doing this for 15 years now. And I think there's really an order. You've got to get step 1 done before you go to step 2, and then 3 and 4 you can sort of do simultaneously. But let's just sort of talk about, let me just talk about a few of these things here. So Bill mentioned a little bit about my background. I've got 20 plus years in light manufacturing as a general manager and operation manager running a small business. I always liked working for companies 100 employees or less because I wanted to get to know everybody. I wanted to be able to have company picnics. Just to have, it was nice to be able to do things. So I've always worked for small companies. Since 2007, I've been facilitating and leading the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. That group's been around since the late 1990s. I took it over in 2007 when the prior leader got a job. We meet every Friday morning, 9:30 Central Time via Zoom, and we are meeting in person. So if you live in the DFW area, you're welcome to come join us in person. And then a bunch of us, some of us go out to lunch afterwards, so you're welcome to join us there. You got to eat lunch, come join us. In 2008, I saw a need. So I was running the North Dallas group. I saw there was a need. There was a need for something to help people because there wasn't a sign out in front of St. Andrews saying, unemployed, come here Monday nights at 7 o'clock. There wasn't a sign, come to my Friday group, that didn't exist. So I thought, let me put together a website to sort of put together all the information in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. And when I got started doing this, it was, I went to another career place here, and they gave me their most current list of networking groups in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. It was dated January 1st, 2006. It was 2.5 years old. So that sort of became what I focused on, updating the list, and then that's what I published to make it easier for people, and then try to update it whenever things change. I have written a book called What I've Learned About Your Job Search You May Not Know. It is available on Amazon, or if you see me in person, I always have copies with me, and the copies I sell are cheaper than what Amazon does because then you're helping Jeff Bezos shoot his rockets in the air or whatever. In 2012, I was invited to the White House to go to the White House Forum on Job Clubs and Career Ministries. It was sponsored by the White House Office of Faith-Based and Neighborhood Partnerships. It was really fascinating. There were about 110 people there from all over the United States. It was great to be with other people who do what I'm doing, who do what Bill does, who do what the other career leaders in the Dallas-Fort Worth area do. I was the only representative from like Texas, Oklahoma, New Mexico. It was really sort of amazing how I just happened to get myself there. And when I came back from that, I realized there is nobody else in the country doing anything like CareerDFW. There are other little church websites. They'd have their own little website for their unemployment group, but nothing on a bigger scale. I had owned the name CareerUSA.org and decided, okay, I was rebuilding the CareerDFW website, updating it for security reasons and everything else. So we just split up. All the generic stuff went to CareerUSA.org. The stuff specific to the Dallas-Fort Worth area stayed on the CareerDFW website. CareerDFW, we're a 501c3 nonprofit. It was very important to me to let people know that any donations, anything you do to support, anything you do, any financial support, whatever, goes to help support CareerDFW. It's allowed me to really, I get, when I need computer help with people, a lot of people just donate their time because of who we are. We have no full or part-time employees. I've never taken a dime out of CareerDFW. This is my little charity. This is what I do to give back. I don't get paid to do this. I haven't got paid in the last 15 years to do this. This just, the donations and stuff pay for the websites and the internet hosting and those kinds of things that I have to actually put money out for. So just a couple things. We mentioned this. We do have LinkedIn groups. We're going to talk about LinkedIn here in just a second. Join the Career USA LinkedIn group. Join the CareerDFW LinkedIn group. We've got over 14,000. We just passed 14,900 members. And I will tell you that probably 1 out of 15 members, they work in HR. And why are they joining this group? Because they're trying to find you. We'll talk about having a complete profile and what you need to do here in just a second. We are on Facebook. We have a CareerDFW Facebook page. The programming that I put on Tuesday through Friday, everything goes on Facebook, simulcast along with Zoom, so that people can watch it either place. And I know we usually have a couple people who are always watching on Facebook. You can subscribe to our Career USA YouTube channel. All the videos that we put on get posted to that channel. This video will be put up there later this afternoon. I've got over 530 recorded videos up there. This is actually like 735 workshops I've put on since COVID started. So I'm a little busy. So yeah, let me just mention that. So the four areas to focus on in your job search. There's four main areas I think you need to do. Number one, resumes. Number two, LinkedIn. You got to get your resume done first. Once you have your resume done, you fill out your LinkedIn profile. Once your LinkedIn profile is robust and going out there, you can then work on 3 and 4 together, interviewing and networking. Because if you start networking and interviewing before you have your resume and LinkedIn profile ready, it's going to be a sort of a jumbled mess. So if you take the time to do these things in this order, I think it'll be really good. So what I'm going to talk about today is the tip of the iceberg. As Bill knows, I mean, all the other speakers, what we could talk about if we had lots and lots of time is underneath the water, but I'm going to sort of mention the highlights, and you're welcome to come back and join us for any of our training sessions to talk about more things that we do. All right, so we're going to talk about resumes first. One of the things I find when people start putting together resumes, they have analysis paralysis. They focus on, I got to get my resume perfect. I have to have the perfect resume. Well, you can give your resume to 10 different resume experts, and you're going to get at least 15 different answers of what you should be doing on your resume. You go fix it, give it back to them again, they're still going to say you need to change things. So when it comes down to your resume, you've just got to be comfortable doing what you want to do, comfortable with what it says. All right. My thing that I really encourage everybody to do is come up with a master resume. What is a master resume? It is a 10 to 15 page document that tells people everything you've ever done since college, probably. There's jobs that you probably would never talk about, but you list everything down. You put addresses, supervisors' names, 8 or 10 bullet points, your major accomplishments at each one of those jobs. Because by doing that, when you then see a job that you're interested in, you're going to take that master resume, you're going to save it as however your naming convention, and you're going to eliminate everything that's not in the job description, because you want to make that match. You want to match the resume to the job description. You got to remember, your resume is just a hook. No resume has ever gotten anybody a job. What a resume does is it gets you a phone call. Okay, so practicing your interviewing skills later on is what's going to get you your next job. You've got to customize every resume you send out. If you are just sending out a generic resume, spreading it out to everybody you know, that's going to be very ineffective. Because number one, what you've done is you've gone, help me, help me, help me, I'm looking for a job. Okay, so I think that you've got to customize your resume. I know there's one person who I coached a couple years ago, and she used to tell me, I never send a resume out until I've had a phone call with somebody to know exactly what they're looking for. Because until I know what they're looking for, I can then customize my resume to meet exactly what they're looking for. You've got to be sure to keep to the details of the job description. Everybody here has done a lot of really great things. But in the job description, if they don't ask about it, you don't need to talk about it, okay? You don't want to confuse them. One of the main reasons for this is that a lot of times the recruiter who's looking at these things, so the hiring manager says, here, find me 10 people who can do this. They give them a job description. They may not, it could be some kid who just got out of college and they have no idea what a technical project manager who knows blah, blah, blah to do. They're just trying to find somebody who's got these keywords from the job description the keywords that are matching your resume. So that's why you want to really keep it simple. You want to be sure to use dollar signs, percent, and numbers, okay? You have got to justify what it is you do. I heard this really, really great speaker who has talked on our resume class, and what he will do, he says, is every bullet point you have, what you did, the words resulting in, and the result. And if you can't do it in that format, what I did, resulting in, and say the words resulting in, and what the result was, you save money, you reduce downtime, whatever it is, your bullet point's ineffective. You know, the other game we like to play is the so what game. Read your bullet point and say, so what? And if you can't give it a so what, you need to do that, because that's what's going to sell you. I need to hire somebody who can increase my sales, reduce product error devices, get things shipped out on time. If you can show me in your resume resulting in and the result that you've done these things, I want to call you up and I want to talk to you. Do not blindly send out resumes, because like you said, you're just putting up in everybody's, you're just telling everybody, help me, I'm looking for a job, and it tends to turn people off. Do not post your resume on LinkedIn. Once again, you're posting a generic document. We'll talk about LinkedIn in a little bit, about all the information you're going to put on there. Your LinkedIn profile is going to have more information than your resume. It's almost your master resume, but not quite. One of the things I highly recommend for networking, and if you're going to blindly send something out, is a one-page bio. I think the one-page bio is an extremely effective tool. It's easy for somebody to read. It tells somebody who you are, what you do, and how you can help on a high level. It doesn't scream, help me, help me, help me. I use a bio when I'm going to be a guest speaker someplace. I use a bio if I'm networking with somebody, because it's sort of, they have an idea who it is. Your bio has your picture on it. You don't put a picture on your resume. So here's a great book. It's called Be Sharp. A bio can be used for lots of situations. So Minna Brown and Paul Asanoff wrote this book. This is the second edition here. It's got the little stripes along the side over here. I can't quite get over there. But it's got the little stripes on it, second edition. The second edition has about 30 different bios in the back of the book. It is it's one of the 3 books that I highly recommend everybody have in their job search. The first half of the book tells you how to tell somebody what it is you do. The second half of the book is all about bios. This is one of Minna's bios that she has. Now she's a executive coach and author, public speaker. She trains coaches. So this is more of an ad piece for her, but that's what your bio is, an ad piece. So I highly recommend doing this. In fact, Minna Brown will be our speaker in 2 weeks on August 25th at the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group. So if you want to jot that down, on August 25th, come join us. She'll talk about the bio, what you need to do in it. All right, your resume and the ATS system, which is ATS Applicant Tracking System, or the black hole, as we all call it, because you put it in and nothing ever comes out. You've got to be sure. There are well over 300 different ATS systems out there. There could be 500. I mean, there's lots of them out there. They do not all work the same. You don't know how that system's designed. You don't know what features it will take and what features it won't. So you've got to be careful when you're applying for a job online. Do not use any special characters, any special formatters. No headers, no footers, no tables. Because what will happen is, and I've heard this from recruiters, oh, we found this great resume, but we don't know who it's from, because apparently they must have put their information in a header. It didn't get sucked into the system, just the meat of the resume. So, just no headers, no footers, no tables, no special formatting. You want to keep it really, really simple. You've got to be sure that your keywords align to the job description. I mean, keywords is the whole point here. If you tell them, if they're looking for this and you can make that match, that's exactly what they're looking for. You've got to be sure to focus on results and accomplishments. We sort of talked already about the so what game. Make sure I read so many resumes, and it reads like a job description. There are no results in it. There's no results. That's going to be really, really different. I also think you should use an action verb to start every bullet you use. So I think that if you can get them a little excited using an action word, and I've got a list of action words. I have a list of some sample bios. I'll be glad to send people. Maybe at the end of this, I'll put them into the chat window and you can download them. If not, you can email me and I'll be glad to get them to you. Let's see here. Mary asked a question.
Yeah, she's got a question.
All the data on the ATS along with attaching a resume. What's the difference? The difference between the ATS and attaching a resume. Now, this is what I've heard. I've never been in recruiting, but this is what I've heard from a lot of recruiting people, is that you fill out all the little fields in an ATS system. That's where the keyword match is happening at. When when you do match and the recruiter has, oh, let's look at, let's look at her profile, they're opening up your resume. Okay, so that's the difference. So the resume can look nice, especially if you're using a PDF, because that way it's going to format it the way you exactly want it to look like. So that's sort of the difference. I've had a director of HR tell me that I never look at what the ATS puts out. The candidates pop up, here are their names, I look at their resume. So that's why they want both. All right. Some common resume mistakes, and this will get you thrown out. Think about it. A recruiter's got 100, 200, 300 applications, 300 people who've applied for a job. What are they looking to do? Well, looking for the match, and they're looking for a reason to put you in the no pile. What's going to get you in the no pile really quick is a spelling mistake, a grammatical error, using an unprofessional email address. No, Dan loves kitty cats at gmail.com. You want Dan Smith PMP at gmail.com. If you don't show any quantifiable results, you have got to tell people resulting in what is it that you can do. I need to hire you. I've got money to spend. I got to fill this position because I have a problem. Everybody out there, you're a problem solver. What are you going to do to solve my problems? If you can display that on your resume, you've got a good chance I'm going to call you up because I need somebody who can do what you can do. You do not want your format or design to be too elaborate. People are used to looking at a resume in chronological order. There's a few things you can do to sort of, make it stand out some, but white space is good. I mean, you just got to be very, very careful. Any one of these reasons can get you thrown out. If you have an OU email address because you're an OU alumni, and it happens to be a grad, or the person going through the recruiter happens to go to UT, what do you think is going to happen to all the OU people? They're going to be in the no pile. Okay, so that's why I say, get a professional email address. If you have an AOL account, that tells people you're OLD. Okay, they really ought to just change. They ought to just change AOL to OLD. Okay. Even Yahoo tells people you're owed. I have a Yahoo account and I've had it for 20, 30 years now. But, I also have a Gmail account. Okay. Everybody apparently Gmail sort of, Gmail, Ymail, there's Rocket Mail, there's the Apple one. I forget what the Apple one's called. But, don't be AOL, Juno. There was somebody who emailed me a couple of weeks ago, Juno.com. How old is Juno? That's 30 plus years old. I didn't even know they're still in business. All right, a few more resume mistakes. Too much text. You want to tell them what they need to know, but none of the extra stuff, because that's unimportant. Make sure your tenses are correct. If you're currently working, your tenses should be, this is what I currently do. But if it's a past job, be sure that all the tenses are past tenses. I look at a lot of resumes, and believe me, my red pen here is on my desk all the time, because if I'm printing one out, it's getting circled because it's so easy to make those mistakes. You do not need to mention references available upon request. If they want them, they'll ask for them. So don't waste the space. And you've got to customize the resume to match the job description. If you're just generically throwing out your generic resume, the chances of you getting a phone call, maybe 1%. I mean, it's not going to happen. You're going to have to work a lot harder. All right, so we talk about resumes on the first and third Thursday of the month. Since COVID started, every first and third Thursday, we talk all about our resumes. We've got different experts who will be talking about it. This week is the third Thursday of the month. So Tony Bashara from Babington Associates is going to be our speaker about the top 10 mistakes that people make on their resumes. Tony's been in the business 35, 40 years. He knows what he's talking about. He does not hold back. He says he looks at, 30, 40, 50 resumes a day, because he'll look at all the resumes from all the different people who work for him just to see what's going on. So it'll be a really good speaker this Thursday, 1 p.m. Central. All right, let's talk about LinkedIn for a second. Let me make sure, no other comments. Yep, okay. LinkedIn now. So once you've got your master resume done, filling out your LinkedIn profile should be easy, okay? So here's some statistics from January of 2023. 95 job applications are submitted every minute. 10 million people plus use the open to work banner, and I think that number's gone up a lot. 50 million people a week use LinkedIn to search for jobs. 6 people get hired every minute on LinkedIn. There are 61 million companies listed and over 120,000 schools listed. Now, why do I talk about 120,000 schools? I mean, unless you're trying to get an education job, that's a great way to network with your alumni base. Whatever school you went to, here's a great opportunity to go in and network with people at your university. All right, so on LinkedIn, you've got to have a current and updated and fully developed LinkedIn profile. LinkedIn will help you with this. You can go through and say, well, have you done this? Do you have any of this to add? Do you have any of this? They want you to be up to date. Now, they used to give you a sort of a rating, that you're now at 98%. This was a few years ago. They took that away now they changed it to all-stars. So there's like 4 or 5 different levels, because no one ever became 100%. And the reason nobody ever became 100% is because there's always one more person that you can reach out to and network with. So it was a constantly, what can you do to improve to get better? Does your profile tell a company how you can help them? Now, your resume is written in third person. I believe your LinkedIn profile should be written in first person. You want to be able to tell them, hi, my name is Jeff Morris. I'm an operational leader. I can help your company do things better, faster, smarter. So you sort of, how can I help you? What can I do how can I help your company? Can someone reach out to you easily? Now, this is really absolutely amazing that I will look at people's profiles. There's no phone number on there. There's no email address. Now, your contact information, there's a field in LinkedIn for contact information, but that's only seen by people who are your first degree connections. So if I'm a second or third degree connection, I'll never see that. But if you put your phone and email contact in the about section, your summary statement, that will tell people how they can reach out to you. Everybody can see that. You've got to be sure to have a focus statement. You've got to tell people what it is you do. You see here, started with experienced Java front-end engineer or talented marketing brand manager. Use an action verb to start things out. Don't waste that space underneath your name, that title. That's probably the most searched, highest valuable for points field that there is out there. Now, people say, oh, I don't want my phone number on I don't put my phone number. A lot of women, I understand that. Get a Google Voice number. I just sat with somebody this last week and got them set up on a Google Voice number. Took 5 minutes. Now, there's no 972 or 640 numbers. I think there's some 214-972-469. Those numbers are all gone. But there are 682 numbers you can get. There's 940 numbers I think you can get. So consider, if you don't want to put your own personal phone number on there to do it, but put your email address. If you don't have 2 email accounts, I suggest you have 2 email accounts. You should have one for your work search. and all your professional contacts. And then you have your other email for your family friends who you email with and you send jokes and stuff back and forth, okay? I think it's real important you have 2 accounts, and don't stop checking that account even when you do get employed. So here's a picture of my profile. I've actually put my phone number and email address in the upper corner of my banner, okay? Now, I've made it easy. I've told people this is who I am, okay? This is a word cloud. This program doesn't exist anymore, but you can still get word clouds out there if you Google it. And then I put a copy of my book on there because I'm always, I want to promote that, here's my book. But I don't get a lot of spam phone calls. I don't get a lot of spam emails, and there's a delete key. If I get too many spam emails, I just hit delete, delete, delete. It's not a big deal, So I've made it easy for somebody to reach out to me to do that. You also see, and we get down here to the job title, you see accomplished manufacturing manager, operation manager, general manager. Put 2 or 3 job titles there, but make sure that these are job titles that would be on a job description. Because when a recruiter goes and types in something, they don't put in, I'm looking for a chief people person. They're looking for a director of talent acquisition, a director of personnel, a manager of personnel, whatever. They're looking for something that, whatever the job title is how you need to do it. You don't want to say you're in operation management because that's not on a job description, but an operation manager is. So make sure that you're using job descriptions there. I put a little saying, better, faster, smarter. For some reason, my brain's just hooked up that when I do stuff in manufacturing, it's like, well, if I move that table over there by 4 feet, I'll save that person 4 steps every minute. And through the day, that would increase his productivity a little bit. That's the way my brain. So that's the way I look at things, better, faster, smarter. And then a speaker at career workshops and seminars, wherever I can do. So that's all on there. If you do click on my contact information, you will also get my phone number and my email address. Now, if anybody out there wants to connect with me on LinkedIn, the cardinal rule is you have to send me a personal note. So hopefully nobody here has already done that. If you did, you need to send me a note because I ignore people who don't send me a note. You got to send me a personal note.
Jeff, there's a question from Deborah.
Yeah,
on
go
the
ahead.
chat.
Oh, I have several job titles on my LinkedIn profile. New job or promotion every 2 to 3 years. I've had to reduce to combine one so it fits on a 2-page resume. Should I now reduce my LinkedIn profile to match my resume? You can have multiple job titles on your, because you've done multiple things over the years. That's okay to do. Your resume, though, you want to customize your resume to the job you're applying to. So if you're applying for a, project manager, electronic project manager, that's what you want to put on there, even though you've done other kinds of project management in the past. You do want to customize your resume because you want to make sure that they go, yeah, this matches what I'm looking for. Let's call this person. So you want to make it easy. On LinkedIn, be sure to add where we've already saw a professional email address. So no danloveskittycats@gmail.com and your closest large city state. Okay. So if you lived in Carrollton or Southlake or Forest Hills or Mansfield, I would probably put DFW Metroplex. Okay. If you live in the Chicagoland area, you don't need to list, Everett or some of the small cities around there. List the big city because once again, you want to be found. The easiest way to be found is make the biggest splash that you can do. Some people just put Texas. Some people just put the United States. I wouldn't do that. I think you've got to have a Metroplex, whatever it is, close by that you can use on your LinkedIn profile. We've talked about this. Always send a personal note to connect with everybody. I hate getting these. I'd like to join your LinkedIn profile. This is that generic thing. I never accept any of these. I'll just tell you this right now. I don't accept them because I don't know why. If you were to reach back out to me, and if I accepted it and you reach back out to me in a couple of years, I wouldn't know where we met. I wouldn't know why we connected. But if I have a note from you, it'll pop up saying, oh, well, you connected with Jeff in 2024 or 2021, and he saw you at a LinkedIn presentation or something like that. So that's why I believe that, always send that personal note. On LinkedIn, I don't know if this is my next one here. No. On LinkedIn, there's two types of connect buttons. There's a white connect button and a blue connect button. You know what? I think we'll talk about that in just a second. So I'll get my slides out of order here. Always send a personal note. This is a screenshot from an iPhone. Now, I think they replaced that more thing with like 3 little dots or a little hamburger, whatever you want to call that thing. So here, click on those little more things, and then you can click on personalized invite. On a cell phone or a tablet, if you click on the blue connect button, it will send a generic invitation. So you've got to, if you're doing that, move over. I don't use the mobile app. I don't like the mobile app. It doesn't have all the functions that the web-based version does. So I try to I try to do all my LinkedIn stuff strictly on a PC. But if I'm out someplace, I will look people up on my phone. Okay, you want to look for the blue connect button. So we just talked about that. So even though here on this is a cell phone version, there's a blue connect button, but if you click on that, the generic invitation will go out. That's why you want to click on more, the 3 dots, whatever happens, whatever the app looks like. LinkedIn is changing all the time. So you never know what it's going to look like day to day to day. That's why I don't do any live presentations with LinkedIn, because it may not be what it used to be. You always want to look for the blue connect button. So if you see somebody pop up like Tanya here, don't click on connect, but click on her face. If you click on her face, it will take you to the connect button. And then you can click right there on the connect button, and then you can send a personal note. If there's no connect button and it says follow, come over here and click on more, and it will then open up a little drop down where you can then connect with people. When people have the follow thing up here instead of connect, they put their profile into creator mode. And if you're a job seeker, I don't advise you being in creator mode, because you want people to be able to connect with you, okay? So always look for that blue connect button. Like I said, this is for a PC or a desktop, a tablet or a cell phone. You probably have to open up the extra submenu. You want to get your profile completed to all-star status, and that means you have to have a current location, a current position, a location, an industry, a summary, at least 5 skills, education, and a photo. Oh, I don't want to put my photo on LinkedIn. I may be discriminated against. Listen, we all have gone, we've met somebody, we saw them at church, we met them at a bar, we saw them someplace, and we were attracted to somebody because of that, okay? Get a good-looking photo to put on there. Nowadays, your cell phone can take great shots. You want a plain background. In fact, we're going to look at some photos here in just a second. Well, Jeff, wait a second. I don't have a current position because I'm out of work right now. Well, you do have a current position. My recommendation is you create a position to start, well, in the title field, you put down what you're looking for, and you can list 2 or 3 job titles that you're looking for. Not 5 or 6, but 2 or 3 is okay. Then in the company space, the name of the company, put your phone number and email address. Then in the description, list 2 or 3 or 3 or 4 bullet points of what successes you've had, what you can do to help me if I hire you. And the very last line should say, you know, feel free to reach out. I'd love to help your company. Here's my contact information again. You put the start date when you left your last job. It says the present, that gets you a current job. And then when you do get a new job, you just go delete that listing. So it's not even there. All right, so here's some headshots. Here's some good ones and some bad ones. Now this one here is really bad, but yeah, just ignore this one. Okay, I'm not here. In the upper left-hand corner, nice shot, close. You can sort of see his face, but it's washed out. You really don't want to do that, okay? I mean, you want it to look really nice. The guy in the purple shirt, that'd be fine on Facebook, but that's not designed to be here on LinkedIn. That's not a professional looking photo. The lady sitting in the chair, I think that's too far away. I don't need to see her legs, her arms. I just need to see, you know, from up just above the chest to the head, because I want to see who this person is. I'm not good with names, so I'm not going to remember who people are, but I will go, oh, I remember when I saw him on I saw him here at Career Care, because I see his face, his camera's on right now. I'll remember him from that way. All right. Upper right-hand corner, That's Gail. Is it Gail him or Gail her? You never really know. We don't need any spouses. Anybody who tries to connect with me and there's a spouse, a significant other picture, I just hit delete because it's like you don't know what you're trying to do with your profile. Lower right-hand corner, the open to work, he's got the banner on there. Great, but he's too far away. Okay, I don't need to see a nice, hand up on a whatever. I want to see from here to here because I use this as like my Pictionary, being able to go look somebody up to go, who is that person who sent me that email? The next two photos I love. I think they're great. Color, black and white, good smile, looking directly at the camera. Black and white is fine. It's a little artsy, but that's okay with me. But it tells you who they are, they're looking. Also, think about this. Look at the way that they're facing they're sort of facing into the middle of the screen. Okay, their shoulders are sort of turned. Your photo's in the upper left-hand corner of the screen on LinkedIn. If you're facing the other way, you're facing off the screen. It doesn't make sense. This is a small little thing that bugs the heck out of me. But, I was at a national conference. I speak at a national conference twice a year about LinkedIn and resumes and all sorts of stuff. And they have a photographer there, two photographers taking pictures for anybody who needs a new headshot. They spent a whole day, one conference, a whole day taking photos with everybody facing off. Now, I guess you can, if you know how to do it, you can flip the photo over. I went and grabbed them during lunch and said, hey, come here for a second. You're taking everybody's photos for LinkedIn, but you're facing them the wrong way. And I showed them why, and they went, oh, we never really thought about that. So they then switched the rest of the day to go the other way. So you want to be sure you're facing into the screen. You've got to have a good headline. Make sure it's a title, position you're looking for. If you have a strange title, chief people person, nobody's hiring for that. It's okay in your job title, in your experience section, you put in chief people person, and then in parentheses, put director of talent acquisition, director of personnel. Put down what a normal job title would be that people would be looking for. What is that done? Keyword matching, because now you're matching job title to what they're looking for. Open to work. Use the open to work banner. People, at the beginning, a year and a half ago when this came out, people were like, I don't want to use it. It makes me look desperate. If you're looking for work, put it on. The reason being is that less than 50% of recruiters pay LinkedIn $5,000 to $10,000 per year per license to use the recruiting package. So by putting that on there, by putting the open to work, you're then telling the other 50% of recruiters who don't, if they happen to find you, oh, you are open to work. And it's fine to do. Now, just make sure that you adjust your picture so that it's not covering part of your face, depending on how close you are in your face. But put it on there. I know people that have, put out notes to their friends and family and have talked about, just FYI, I'm currently out looking for a job. They pop up someplace, or you've made a comment, you shared, and they went, oh, I didn't know Joe's looking for work. Okay. Oh, you are? Well, we worked great together 8 years ago. Let me call them up. I know people who've gotten jobs just because I've had it on there. Somebody happened to see their profile. So if you're looking for work, fill it out and have that little banner on there. It's not going to hurt. All right. In your about section, you have got to have an overview of your career using keywords from your profession, and be sure to include your contact information. We've talked about contact information, how important that is to make it easy for people to reach out to you. In your experience section, you want your job title. And I said, if it's an unusual job title, put the job title in parentheses, and a description of your duties. Now, one of the things I like to do, besides including keywords from your profession, is put a one-line description of the name of what the company does that you're doing. So if you work for IBM, put down, a Fortune 50, computer company, whatever it is, it's done. Because there's so many companies out there that I've never heard of, that recruiters have never heard of. But if you give them a one-line description about what it is, what it is that company does, I think it's real effective. I think you also do that on resumes. You've got to have education, any awards, certificates, professional developments. If you've got any patents, you can do that. Skills, you've got to have at least 5 skills. You can have up to 50. Now, one of the new things they just started doing on LinkedIn in the last 6 months is when you add a new job, you can actually put skills that you've used in each job. I think it's really a good move that they did because once again, here's another place for you to match. If a recruiter is looking for somebody who has X skill, here's an opportunity for it to match if it show up there. Recommendations from your coworkers and from former bosses. You need to have 2 of them, 2 to 3, probably 3 would be better, but they got to come from 2020 to 2023. Okay. You don't want to have, you've got recommendations from 2014, take it down. 2011, take it down. It's not going to help you. Okay. Now, what you can do is contact that person and go, hey, would you write me a new review? This is what you wrote back then. I'd like to just have something current. Would you mind doing that? Then that gives it a current date, and LinkedIn, when you add it on there, it'll show as up to date. All right, on LinkedIn, privacy settings. You want to be sure to turn off people also viewed. Have you been on LinkedIn and on the very right-hand side of the screen, here, people just like Jeff. Why do you want to promote other people? You don't want to do that. So you want to turn that part off. So just go into your settings, and then you want to turn on, let recruiters know that you're open to new opportunities. And that adds a little green banner, open to work thing. Be sure to turn that on. Be sure to follow any company that you're interested in applying to. Now, the reason being, by clicking the follow button, there's a couple reasons for that. Number one, by doing that, if the recruiter is using LinkedIn package and they put in, I'm looking for a project manager, and 100 people pop up in their search. One of the things they have across the very top of the screen for them is, of that, 24 people follow your company. Well, they're going to look at those 24 people first to see if, well, this person already knows who we are. Let me see if I find somebody qualified there. If not, then I'll widen my scope and see who else is in that 100 people thing. So
good afternoon, Joe Brock.
Yeah, go ahead, Joe.
Hey, Sydney, how are you?
Nope. Must be on the phone. Yeah, you're good.
All right, somebody else. Yep. All right. So follow any company that you're interested in. It will make a big, big difference. I mean, it will help out. And then also you'll get alerts. You'll have more things that will pop up in your feed that will talk about the name of that company. You've got to be active on LinkedIn. Okay. If you join us, and I'll mention our LinkedIn presentations coming up, Terry Sullivan says you need to be on LinkedIn 15 to 30 minutes a day. Knock it out first thing in the morning or in the afternoon, whatever. But you want to post something once a week if you can, or share somebody else's comments, or share something with no comments, or just like something 3 to 5 times a day. Show LinkedIn that you're active, showing LinkedIn that you're using the system, because if you're not, they know it, and they will relegate you lower in the rating system. Feedly.com that I mentioned right up here, that is a great place to find articles that you can post and repost into LinkedIn to help make you, do something. Or if you know something you like, post something that you're an expert in. On LinkedIn, always reply to any LinkedIn in-mail or connection request. Okay, either ignore them or just hit the ignore button, or if they send you an in-mail, just say thanks, no thanks, or great to connect with you, or something. Once again, LinkedIn is keeping track if you're active. And if you're active on LinkedIn, one of the features the recruiting package has is people who are most likely to respond. There's a feature. LinkedIn knows that on average, when recruiters send out in-mails, less than 10% of in-mails are ever read. I think the number is like 7%. So if you're responding, they keep track of that, and they'll add that as a field so a recruiter can click, I want people who are more likely to respond, and you'll stand out even better. So we talk about LinkedIn every Tuesday. We've been talking LinkedIn Tuesdays for like 3+ years now. We've got 4 different speakers who talk about LinkedIn. They rotate through on a monthly basis. They update their profiles with the latest, greatest stuff. Tomorrow, Locke Alderson will be with us to talk about how to get recruiters to notify or to notice you. Just some really good basic stuff. So every Tuesday, different presentation on LinkedIn. If you think you need help on LinkedIn, join us Tuesdays, 1 o'clock. We will be on the CareerDFW Facebook page. And we do post all those videos up on the YouTube channel, and I'll talk about that at the end. All right, section number 3. So your resume is done. You've got a robust LinkedIn profile. Now what's going to happen is people are going to call you. If your resume and your LinkedIn profile will not get you a job, they only get you a phone call. How well you practice your interviewing skills, that's what's going to get you your next job. Okay, so it's important to practice your interviewing skills. You've got to be prepared for an interview. Every bullet point on your resume should have a story, and I recommend that you write them down. I like index cards. Get, these are 4x6, 3x5 if you print really small, whatever it is, but get index cards, and for every one of your bullet points, write down bullet point at the very top. I put STAR on the side, or if you want to do SAR or RATS or RAW, and there's all sorts of different ones out there. But whatever the method is you want to use, and you put one line, here is the situation, here is my task, here is the action that I took. We're not hiring me, we're just hiring you. So this is what you did to participate. And then here is the result. Okay, so that's what everybody knows what STAR is. SAR, situation, action, result. RAW, result first. Hey, can I tell you a story about the time I saved $6 million for the company? Here are the actions I took, and this is why we had to do it. And then there's RATS, which is STAR backwards. Result first, the action I took, here's the task, and here's the situation. So, get index cards, and if you write them like this, bullet points, then when you go for an interview, if you're sitting out in the car waiting, you can just glance through these cards. You don't read these word for words. These are just something to sort of remember what it is you do. By writing them down, by physically writing something down, you're embossing it into your brain a lot better, because your brain has to think about what you're writing, it sees what you're writing, and it'll help remember what it is you do. And then this helps you with your story. So take the time to do this. This is part of, I think, when you're building a resume, what you should do. You've got to keep your answers to 45 to 60 seconds. Now, pre-COVID, that used to be 2 minutes, right, Bill? We used to tell me, got to get your story done in 2 minutes. Well, our attention span has shrunk since we've gone on Zoom, and 45 to 60 seconds. But it's okay at the end of that 45 to 60 seconds, okay? There's more details. If you'd like to know more, I can go into more detail. Or did I answer your question? Do something like that. Don't say it every time, but if it's a complicated story. So even if you've got something and it was 4 steps that you had to do, well, I was on this project, here's one of the steps I took. You explain the one step, that the action you did, and it resulted in us saving, $1,000 a day and whatever. So, but I could tell you about the other 3 if you're interested. So just tell them enough to sort of catch them of what they're doing. Be prepared to answer these questions. Why do you want to work here? Okay. I know there's a recruiter, she asks every person she interviews, why do you want to work here? And if it's not a good answer, you don't move on. How much did you make at your last job? Why did you leave your last job? Be sure to know this. Now, how much did you make last job? That's just the money question. Just be prepared to talk about that. Why you leave your last job? That is just last job, job before that, whatever it is. Just be prepared to have a story. Your story needs to be short, positive, and just stay positive. When interviewing, I believe in the 10+1 method, and this is Ron's 10+1. Ron runs the practice interview team now. Have 10 questions ready to ask. The goal is to ask 5 of those questions before they ask you, do you have any questions? So this is sort of, you want to turn the inquisition into a conversation. Okay? The +1 question at the very bottom should be, ask for the job. So if you come up with, and I love seeing when somebody comes to interview at the practice interview team and I see they have a piece of paper with 10 questions on there, I know this person's prepared for this. And that's what we ask you to do. We want you to prepare. When interviewing, be sure to find out what the next step is going to be. Be sure to express even a greater interest for the position. So, we talk about the opening statements of enthusiasm. That's something you can watch on our YouTube channel. And then you got to be sure to ask what the next step is, or ask for the job. There was a gentleman on the practice interview team a couple of years ago. He said, yeah, I went in for this interview. And at the end of it, I said, I saw that empty desk out there. Would that be my desk? I can start on Monday. Because he thought the interview went very well. What did he have to lose? He did get the job. I don't think it was at that desk though, but he did get the job within a couple of weeks because he asked for it. Okay. So many times we did an interview a couple of weeks ago at the practice interview team, and the person just said, well, yeah, thanks for having me in for the interview. I hope hope to hear from you soon. I'm not going to call you. It's up to you to follow up. It's up to you to sort of tell me, so what is the next step? If I don't hear from you by next Tuesday, is it okay if I call you Wednesday at 9 o'clock in the morning? And you call them Wednesday at 9 o'clock in the morning. And if you don't get them Wednesday at 9 o'clock in the morning, you leave a voicemail and you say, I'm sorry I missed you. I will call you Thursday at 2. I hope we can connect. And you keep doing that until they get a injunction against you, until they file a court order. It's up to you. For some sales jobs, I know that that's what the hiring manager wants to see. If you don't follow up, they're not going to hire you because they're going to go, well, if you don't follow up with me, how are you going to follow up in an actual job? All right, a couple common interview mistakes we see all the time is forgetting to take credit or explain your contributions. We need to hear what you did, okay? Not what we were responsible for. My team was responsible. What did you do? What did you do? Because we're not hiring everybody. Do not ever, ever, never, ever speak negatively about a previous boss, a job, or a coworker, because that will not help you in any manner, okay? You have got to be positive. Even if it's the worst job ever that you had, I learned a lot while I was there. It was a great opportunity for me to learn new skills, and it was time to move on. Whatever. Short, sweet, simple. And then if you want to get them off track, hey, can I tell you time about when I saved the company $1 million a year? Get into one of your star stories and they'll forget about why you even left the last company. Do not focus too much on a single interviewer. So if you're in a panel interview, be sure to move to each person as you're talking. The person who asks you the question, that's great, but answer everybody else who's there, because show equal opportunity. It's so hard. You're thinking about what you're doing, sort of think about these things, but if you can, every sentence switch to the next person. But that's why I say come and practice, because if you practice your interviewing skills, you'll knock this out. All right, the practice interview team, Dallas Pit Crews, also known as the practice interview team. They are meeting on the 1st and 3rd Wednesdays in person at 1 o'clock. You're welcome to come join us in person. The 2nd, 4th, and 5th Wednesdays of the month, they are meeting online only. So you can watch this no matter where you are around the country. I know that we have a real practice interview happening this Wednesday. It's at Christ United Methodist Church, corner of Parker and Coit in Plano. You're welcome just to come and watch. Listen, before COVID, we used to have 40 or 50 people who would come and watch 2 or 3 interviews just to see how other people are being interviewed. You will learn as much watching somebody else, because you'll sit there and go, if you're just watching, oh, he didn't answer that well, or he forgot to ask this, or he was clicking his pen the whole time. He just sat there doing this the whole time during the interview, because we're not going to stop you, but we'll talk about it afterwards. But the nice thing about the practice interview team, it's about a 45-minute interview, and then there's 15 minutes to a half hour of feedback. You will never get feedback from any interview you go on. You're not going to get that information. So if you want to come join us, you're welcome to do so. If you want to schedule an interview, I know they've been busy. Last week, I think they had 4 or 5 interviews they did during the week. We're also doing them on Zoom. So if you're interested, just send a resume and a job description and your schedule 2 to 4 days out, and just send it to dallaspitcrew@gmail.com. If you want more information, just go to dallaspitcrew.com and you can find out all about that. Every Wednesday prior to the Pit Crew meeting, We were doing interviewing Wednesdays. We were talking about interviewing. We've got a 13-part workshop that we've put up on interviewing. Who knew it took over 20 hours to prepare for an interview? But if you really want to be prepared, you can watch 20 hours of material that we have, but I'll show you where that is here in just a second. The practice interview team, we are doing interviews online. We did one this past week. It was online. You're welcome to watch or come watch it in person. We do have a 13-part workshop. It is on the Career USA YouTube channel. The first 5 lessons are what do you do before the interview? You know, I don't have a good idea about how to do a star story. Lesson 3, you know, analyzing the job description. Boy, I really don't do that really well. I just sort of wing it when I get in there. Well, you don't want to do that. So, you know, you can do those. The first 5 lessons are what do you do before the interview? The next 5 lessons are what do you do during the interview? How to demonstrate enthusiasm, how to build rapport. Interview openings. You can win a job so easily with a good opening and close. And we'll talk about what it is you need to do. And the last 3 are some advanced topics, you know, just basic things we've seen over the time. All right, let's talk about networking here. Let's see here. Okay, Whit, thanks for checking out early. Apologies. All right, great. We're going to talk about networking here. This is sort of brief. You know, I'm sure you've hopefully seen this. If not, please emboss it, you know, put this in your brain. Don't spend all day in front of a computer. Put on your pants, get out, and go meet people. It's about networking. Hopefully everybody here in the chat window has put in who they are, what they're looking for, what kind of companies they're looking for, a couple target companies, and how you can help somebody else. Do that. Put in your LinkedIn profile also so we can find you on LinkedIn, so we can reach out to you. All right, this is all about networking. 5 to 10% of jobs are found online. 10 to 15 are found using Recruiter. 75 to 80% of jobs are found networking. So here, I'll tell you a brief story back. This is 10 years ago, 12 years ago. I applied for this job. I found it in the newspaper. Anybody remember what a newspaper is? Get the ink on your hands, you know, it's what they are. I actually just stopped getting my newspaper. I read it online now. But in the help section, there was an ad, and I went and applied for it. I went and applied the way it was supposed to. I immediately went to LinkedIn. Who do I know who works at that company? I found somebody who I knew who was connected to the person at that company. I contacted the person I knew. Within a couple hours, they said, sure, I'll send a note off to the guy I know. They sent it to that guy. That night, 6, 7 o'clock, the guy sends me a note. Yeah, send me your resume. I'll hand deliver it in the morning. 9 o'clock, I get a message, a text message, just hand delivered your resume. An hour later, I had the hiring manager on the phone. Okay, that would have never happened if I had not reached out LinkedIn to use my connections. Networking, networking, networking. That's how most jobs are found. Listen, I've been leading the North Dallas group for 15 plus years now. If it's 1 out of 20 people who get a job on Monster or Career Builder. Now, more people getting jobs on LinkedIn. The number's a little bit higher. Some people get them on recruiters, and some people only deal with recruiters. And I don't think that's not a good thing. If you've got a target company that you're interested in, you need to reach out to people who work at that company. How can I network my way in? A lot of times there'll be a job posted, there'll be a job that's not even posted. They go, well, we could use somebody who has your talents. Referrals have a 50% shot of getting an interview, where a non-referral has less than a 2% chance. So if you're just applying online, the numbers are really, really low. If you apply for something, how can I reach out to somebody inside the company? Reach out to everybody you know. Now, this is something called a prayer letter. This is what Kurt Vondermeyer calls it, a prayer letter. I just say this is just a great way to do something. I think every 3 weeks you just send an email out. And in that email, you send 2 of them, one to friends, family, church members, one to your professional contacts. And what you do is in the first paragraph, I want to thank the following people. I want to thank Joe and Mary and Sue and Susan for their help over the last few weeks. Now, you're sending us out blind copies, so nobody knows if you actually got help from anybody. Just make up some names if you want, because it's going blind copy. The second paragraph is, as a reminder, I'm looking for a position as a project manager. third paragraph, if you know anybody who works at 3 target companies, just list 3 target companies only, because you don't want to overwhelm anybody, please have them reach out to me. And then number 4, if there's anything I can do for you, please feel free to let me know. And if you do that every 3 weeks, they may not remember you the first time or the second time, but come the 3rd, the 4th, the 5th time, any salesman will know that it usually takes 4 to 7 touches for somebody to remember what it is you're looking for. I think it's just a great little way to do it. Once again, I can send you, I'll put in the chat window here towards the end, a copy of that document so you can use it. So we talk about networking on the 2nd and 4th Thursday of the month. We have a bunch of different speakers who share their knowledge. You know, networking is basically the same thing. It's reaching out to other people. But in our case, everybody sort of does it a little bit differently. So feel free to come join us. Here's a list. Here's me. But you know, here are a bunch of different people who are all talking about it. It's all basically the exact same thing, but they all do it in their own fashion. So LinkedIn, CareerDFW, we're putting on training. LinkedIn on Tuesdays, interviewing on Wednesdays, effective resumes or networking on Thursdays, and then the North Dallas Plano Career Focus Group on Friday mornings. So here are just a few little bonus things, and we're going to wrap up real quick. Visit the Career USA YouTube channel. I have over 530 workshops have been recorded. Some of our speakers don't allow it to be recorded, so you got to watch it live, and I'll put it in my email so people know. But you can go back and watch any of these things. This is what the USA YouTube channel looks like. Be sure to click where that green arrow is that says playlist. The reason for that is there are 7 different playlists. All the videos I post go into one of 7 playlists. Otherwise, you're scanning through 520 videos. You're never going to find what you're looking for. So if you want to see the LinkedIn presentations, just click on the LinkedIn profile where it says view full playlist. And if you do that, up will come a list of all the different dates and topics, and you can go back. Well, this is the interviewing one. So yeah, this is interviewing. So you can then go and find the lessons that you're interested in. Just scroll down and you'll find what you want. All right, a couple other things. These are just little pet peeves of mine. If you're not early, you're late. Okay, to me, 5 minutes early is on time. On time is late. Now, I didn't come up with that. I think Vince Lombardi used to say that with the Green Bay Packers when he had meetings with everybody. He would, you know, if you weren't there on 5 minutes early, he'd close the door and you get locked out. I did that a couple staff meetings and only had to do it twice, and I never had a problem with people showing up late again. So, you know, they're standing outside the window looking in. And it's just like, I guess they'll find out what it is tomorrow, you know, when we're talking about it. But to me, be on time, okay? Be respectful of the person doing stuff. Whoop, let's see here. Always have a signature line in your emails, okay? So every email that I send out, you're going to see all this information. I put my email address in my signature line. I put my LinkedIn address in case they go, well, who's that Jeff person? They can click it and go, oh yeah, he's the guy with the word cloud and banner, whatever. They'll know who it is. And I'm always promoting my websites. So every email I send out has this on here. So you can send me a note and one word reply. Yes, sounds great. That'll be on there because I want to make it easy, because if you want to pick up the phone and call me, there's my number. You don't have to think about it. Okay. Be sure if you're doing that, if you've got a cell phone, you can't really see it because it's dark here. Put it over here. You know, be sure if you're using a mail application on your cell phone, you've got to get it on your cell phone too. Just because it's on your PC, you know, on your Gmail account, whatever, you've got to also do it on your phone. So make sure all of your accounts have that on there. Be sure display name tells people who you are. Okay. This first one here, WSU Cougar 96. This was a letter that this person wrote to the North Dallas group, thanking them for their help and when she got a job. And I went, WS Cougar 96. Well, I could have some Cougars who come to my Friday networking group, but I don't think they're 96 years old. WSU, oh, Washington State University happens to be the Cougars, and she graduated in 1996. And I went, thank you, Barbara. I'm going to use this for every email, every presentation I ever give of something you don't want to do. You know, Mike Gmail, he didn't realize that Gmail flipped his last name by mistake. He had to go fix that. You know, BR6OFSSC. What in the heck? You know, that doesn't tell me what you are. So like you use the ones here at the bottom, Pam Stewart, GD Wooten, put your name, make sure your name's popping up. Send yourself an email, see what pops up if you're not sure. CareerDFW, CareerUSA, 2 totally free websites that are out there. We were just there to help you. We don't collect any personal information. We're here to help you in your job search. We want to, whatever we can do to provide. The CareerUSA website just got rebuilt. So this is actually the old picture of it, just in the last couple of weeks. Check it out. The search function works great now. It didn't work in the old system. The new one works really great if you're trying to find something. We're rebuilding the CareerDFW site. Hopefully in the next couple of weeks, it'll get rebuilt. We're having to do it for security, safety, upgrading everything to the latest stuff. So that'll be happening. So just please remember, if you can, join the CareerDFW and CareerUSA LinkedIn groups. Follow us on the CareerDFW Facebook page. Subscribe to our CareerUSA YouTube channel. If you're not receiving emails about our workshops, please scan this QR code. I'm get my head out of the way. Scan this QR code with your phone, and it'll start a generic invitation on email. Just send it blank. You don't have to put anything in it. Or you can just send an email to CareerUSA, the + subscribe at groups.io. And what will happen is you will get on our mailing list. What we do is on Sundays, we send out the career tip of the week. Mondays, we tell you what the programming is for the week. Tuesday, we'll tell you what today's, the title of it. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we'll tell you, here's the title of the program today. Here's our subject matter. And most importantly, here's our Zoom link. That way you can just open the email and you can join us, grab your lunch, grab, snack, whatever it is, and join us there. If your group is looking for a speaker, please feel free to contact me. I am willing to talk about this or any subject. I've got 5 or 6 different topics I'd be glad to talk about. I can talk about resumes. I can talk about LinkedIn. I can go about lots of different things. Whatever it is you'd like to talk about, please feel free to reach out to me. What I'm going to do now, okay, so let me just look at the YouTube channel. I will, in the chat window here, I will start loading a bunch of documents, which you should be able to download. If you don't get them, you can just send me an email at webmaster@careerdfw.org. Tell me what you're looking for. Okay, tell me what documents, and I'll be glad to get them to you. So I'm going to stop sharing, and Bill, it's back to you and Q&A. Whatever questions I have, we can answer.
Great. Thanks, Jeff. Just a wealth of knowledge. And I was sitting here thinking, you've done such a fantastic job with CareerDFW and CareerUSA in terms of all the resources there. But you bring it to life with your knowledge in your head. And I know you must absorb it like a sponge every week, because it's just great, most recent information, and just really terrific. So thank you for all that you do. It's outstanding.
You're welcome.
Are there some questions? We have a few more minutes. So, Jeff knows a lot about a lot of different areas. So feel free to just come off mute and ask a question, or we'll watch the chat. I guess you answered them all. They're all all good today.
It's so much, so much stuff that it just yeah.
Hey Bill, it's Rosina.
That was Rosina.
Hi everybody. Hey, I just wanted to mention real quick. Well, I'm a volunteer with Jeff, and so I get to see his exceptionalism almost every day. And so this was a fantastic presentation, and it's very comprehensive to everything that's done on CareerDFW and CareerUSA. So I love working with Jeff, and so I highly promote everything that's on the platform. Now, once you've completed everything that Jeff has mentioned today, last Monday, I wasn't in attendance for this meeting because of the 2023 North Texas Job Fair. And so if you didn't attend, no worries, because that was one of the biggest complaints based on the attendees that did attend. A lot of the employers, and there were a lot of employers, a lot of them just referred everybody back to their website to review job opportunities and apply directly online. So I put in the chat the